By talking about this meeting this upcoming Friday between President Trump and President Putin. President Putin saying he is demanding that he gets to keep some of that territory that he's illegally claimed without making any concessions. Senator Graham, is it a mistake to reward President Putin with a presidential level meeting without Moscow making any concrete or public concessions?
No, I'm very okay with President Trump meeting with President Putin in Alaska. So I was on the phone this morning, Christian, with our European allies, with the Ukrainians. I talked to Yermak this morning. The vice president was on the ground in Europe yesterday, listening to Ukraine and our European allies about what a good deal would look like. And the reviews about J.D. Vance are very, very positive. All across the board, everybody said that J.D. listened well. He understood sort of the red lines. And I think everybody knows that how this war ends can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Senator Lindsey Graham is weighing in on the future of the Russia-Ukraine war, and he's predicting that land swaps could be part of any eventual peace deal. Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, the South Carolina Republican said such arrangements would only happen if Ukraine receives strong security guarantees to prevent another invasion. The comments come just days before a planned meeting between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. While Putin has reportedly insisted on keeping parts of the territory Russia seized, Graham says he's comfortable with the summit, confident that Trump will approach negotiations from a position of strength and seek a resolution that protects both Ukraine and U.S. interests. Graham noted that he has been in contact with European allies and Ukrainian officials, emphasizing that how the war ends will set a precedent for future global conflicts, including potential moves by China against Taiwan. When asked about Trump's openness to Ukraine ceding territory, Graham pointed to historical examples such as the Cold War-era division of Berlin and the Korean armistice. He argued that Ukraine is unlikely to expel every Russian soldier, and that Russia is unlikely to keep all the territory it now holds. In his view, an eventual settlement will likely involve some exchange of land, but only alongside binding security commitments, modern weaponry, and economic safeguards to deter future aggression.
Do you believe that Ukraine should sign a deal that includes giving up any part of their territory, Senator?
Well, think about East Berlin and West Berlin as a way a conflict can be settled, at least for a period of time. North Korea and South Korea is in a state of truce. There's never been a final settlement. But I come on your show a good bit. I want to be honest with you. Ukraine's not going to evict every Russian, and Russia's not going to Kyiv. So there'll be some land swaps at the end. But what would a good deal look like? Make sure that 2022 doesn't happen again. On Biden's watch and Obama's watch, Russia invades. The goal for me, and I think President Trump, is to end it forever. Now, what would that look like? You'll have some land swaps, but only after you have security guarantees to Ukraine to prevent Russia from doing this again. You need to tell Putin what happens if he does it a third time. Pre-invasion sanctions that would crush his economy if he ever did this again. In 2022, we didn't help Ukraine at all. Biden didn't. Militarily, we need to keep Ukraine strong, keep flowing them strong and modern weapons, and security guarantees with European forces on the ground as tripwires to prevent a third invasion.
According to Graham, any deals should also include preemptive sanctions that could cripple Russia's economy if it attempts another invasion. He described the conflict as a dress rehearsal for Taiwan, insisting that a strong outcome in Ukraine would send a clear warning to Beijing. Graham also addressed the stalled sanctions bill that has support from more than 80 senators. While he hasn't brought it to the Senate floor yet, he said Trump is already taking aggressive executive actions, including a 50% tariff on Indian oil imports from Russia. Graham argued that targeting Russia's biggest oil customers, such as India, China, and Brazil, could be more effective than traditional sanctions, since oil and gas revenue is the lifeline of the Russian economy. The conversation then turned to the war in Gaza. Israel recently announced plans to take control of Gaza City, a move that some world leaders have called a dangerous escalation. Graham described the conflict as Israel's World War II, saying the goal should be the complete destruction of Hamas, followed by a rebuilding of Palestinian society similar to post-war Germany and Japan. He predicted that Saudi Arabia will play a key role in determining Gaza's future governance and in broader Middle East peace efforts, adding that normalization talks between Riyadh and Jerusalem could eventually benefit both Israelis and Palestinians. From Ukraine to Gaza, Graham's message was consistent: end conflicts decisively, deter future aggression, and build lasting security arrangements. But as diplomatic efforts continue, the path to those outcomes remains uncertain.